Oh boy, the Jeffrey Epstein story right now is absolutely blowing up and becoming too unavoidable, as of course we're told to believe. The official version of events, as major breaking news stories now contradict all of it. As people are saying, that's more likely of an explanation than what we're getting right now. This, as we have breaking news from the Wall Street Journal, that Trump's name actually allegedly appeared in the Epstein files. All of this as a judge appointed by Barack Obama just officially rejected Trump's bid to unseal the Jeffrey Epstein grand jury transcript, as a lot of people believe that there is an ongoing cover-up effort right now that could potentially be explained by some shenanigans and wrongdoing from the previous administration that is now being accused of manipulating and fudging the data and files in order to implicate Donald Trump. Is that actually what happened here? With larger questions remaining, why didn't they use it during the election then? As a lot of people have some very serious questions. This is a very fast-moving story. There's a lot of things to decipher, a lot of things to try to make sense of, as it's pretty fair to say that this story, the story of the decade, will not be going away. And if you appreciate our efforts talking about this story for over 15 plus years, subscribe, click the notification button, as of course we have been on top of it more than I think the vast majority of independent media organizations that of course sometimes are Johnny-come-latelys or copium stars that try to tell you what you want to hear. We don't do that here. We try to be as honest and as truthful as we can. So subscribe, click the notification button if you appreciate our efforts here to, of course, decipher all of the crazy stuff that's developing right now as we are getting reports. Breaking, DOJ told Trump that he is named in the Epstein files. This coming from the reporting from the Wall Street Journal. And again, the last time the Wall Street Journal did a big expose on Donald Trump here, it really wasn't much. I'm not a big fan of the corporate media, but as we said here, and as we've been warning here, as we have been telling Trump and his associates through this show, that this is creating a Streisand effect and allowing the Democrats and the corporate media now to, of course, have major political victories against Donald Trump because of just the non-clear messaging of this all, the name-calling, the contradiction of statements, and just the bewildering, bizarre type of behavior here that is pretty clear is highlighting some concerning theories about what potentially is going on here. Now, do we believe the Wall Street Journal when they say this? Let's look into the story as they write. Justice Department told Trump in May that his name is among many in the Epstein files. As the article goes on, saying when the Justice Department officials reviewed what Attorney General Pam Bondi called a truckload of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein earlier this year, they discovered that Donald Trump's name appeared multiple times, according to senior administration officials. It's important to note here that these senior administration officials are anonymous. They didn't put their name behind this, and they are saying this. Now you have this kind of wiggle room where whether this story is true or not, the general public, because of this weird behavior by Donald Trump, is going to say, well, you know, they're not going to give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt here because Donald Trump, again, hasn't been really consistent with the messaging here and what's going on here. As he told you, case closed, open case shut, done, one and done. That's it. We're not talking about this anymore. Stop talking about this. And then, okay, I'll try to unseal some documents which just officially were not unsealed. As Dave Smith is talking about how Speaker Johnson just killed a vote on releasing the Epstein files, and a judge just blocked the release of the grand jury Epstein testimony. Man, for something that wasn't at all a conspiracy, there sure are a lot of powerful people hell-bent on us never seeing this proof. And again, the burden of proof should be on the government. All right, to release the documents, release the records. We were told bombshells, shocking stuff. People should be arrested here. Alina Habba, that's been going off before she even became the Attorney General of New Jersey, and that was kicked off. She allegedly no longer is the Trump circle. Could be related to, of course, her kind of statements on all of this. As this reporting now is specifically implicating Donald Trump here, who now is being associated and is being accused of being in the Epstein files. Now, is he in the Epstein files? We don't know because we haven't seen the Epstein files. Now, there has been some rumors that haven't been proven yet by this administration, that have been saying the files are doctored, they're manipulated. And we have seen similar statements made by Mike Johnson. But if that's the case here, what was doctored? What was faked here? And who was the one doing it? And the person who was, let's hold them accountable, because they're part of a grand conspiracy against the president of the United States. Let's unravel this conspiracy. Let's make sure that there's going to be actual justice against this conspiracy that's happening against the president of the United States here. This is what Mike Johnson had to say.
Concerns is, of course, that it was, held in the hands of the DOJ leaders under the last administration, the Biden-Harris administration. And we all know how crooked and corrupt so many of those top officials were.
We do. But just like we're building the case against Barack Obama, which a lot of people now see as an unofficial distraction away from all of this, let's build a case here. Let's go through the documents. Let's not lie to people. But the fact that there was lies, and we were told by Pam Bondi, no, we can't release these documents because we got to make sure the victims aren't in there. And we're like, it takes 6 months to make sure that victims' names are redacted. Don't worry, guys. Be patient. Big things are coming. We're going to release it. And then it's like, we're not going to release anything. And there was nothing to see here in the first place. That is the weird part of it all. That I think vast majority of Americans, whether they were Donald Trump supporters or not, are still kind of left lingering with, being like, this is such strange, weird behavior. Now, is this a conspiracy? If it is, this administration needs to prove it. You cannot just ask for the benefit of the doubt here after so much weird kind of behavior and handling of this entire situation. You just can't do it. The American people, they need proof. And no matter how much you like Donald Trump, love him or hate him, he needs to prove without a shadow of a doubt that he, of course, was being set up here, which, again, is a probability. But again, I don't want to have any kind of probabilities. I don't want to speculate here. We shouldn't be theorizing here. We should be given evidence and proof. And otherwise, the jury's out on everything here. Okay? And that's how rational people should handle this, instead of doing victory laps and saying, we won! We did it! They're doing it! Let's see it firsthand, and then let's do that. Now, before talking about that and a lot more, we wanted to tell you about wearechange.shop. This is how we pay the bills around here. One of the supplements that I really love that has increased and improved my mental health, my cognitive skills, my ability to work overtime, as I've been working overtime 7 days a week all this year, mainly because of the huge IRS attack that we went through last year. Because of the huge IRS attack, we said, you know what? I got to work on providing good quality products. I want to expand this business. I want my name. I want my reputation on it. And I want to leave a mark here that's better and more positive than all the other people that are telling you to gamble and drink booze. I don't do that here, okay? The other people that are given scripts and told to read the scripts during their interviews with Bibi, those people are selling you booze, gambling, and other kind of degenerate type of stuff that is regressive, that is horrible for you. I like to say, look, here's creatine. Creatine's great, especially if you're a woman. Creatine is awesome, especially if you are working out and looking to, of course, increase your gains here. As, of course, you just type in creatine randomly into any search bar, and you start doing your own homework. You start doing your own research, and you start to look into, what is creatine? What does it really do here? As, of course, we have the first post here. I just literally typed in creatine into the search bar, and we have an Ashley Richmond. I don't know who this is. I just typed into the search bar saying creatine is the most powerful legal supplement on the planet. Yet most people still don't understand what it actually does or how to use it. And then he does a thread here. We have Dan Go, Fit founder, on Twitter saying creatine is not just for your muscles, it is for your brain. Researchers gave people with Alzheimer's creatine, and it raised the levels of creatine in their brain, which had positive impact on their memory. Personally, I've seen cognitive benefits dosing at 15 grams or more. More studies need to be done, but this is promising. Yeah, lots of studies, especially when it comes to a lot of people, a lot of women who are going through menopause here, and a lot of people who are kind of health hackers who are reporting, yeah, this is amazing stuff. We made sure to source it from the best place, since a lot of stuff is fake, a lot of stuff is filled with fillers. We made sure we got ours from the best source out there, and you get a 2-month supply for $53 here on wearechange.shop, and I can't recommend it enough. So if you haven't gotten it yet, what are you doing? Get it now, wearechange.shop. Now let's go back to this official story here. Let's go back to what Mike Johnson, who is now being accused of covering up the release of the Epstein files. here is what he had to say here, that a lot of people who want to believe this to be true will believe it. And again, I just need some proof here. I just need some evidence. Without proof, without evidence here, I don't want to fall into... I want to believe it, and because I want to believe it, I need the proof for it. Okay? Some other people, they just really want to believe this, and because they really want to believe this, they choose to believe it. And listen, that is not intellectually sound, in my own personal opinion. I think we need to be honest with ourselves, and I think we need to have those honest conversations with everybody. And these are difficult conversations. These are hard conversations. These are hard times. But let's be honest with ourselves. You cannot just make these type of statements without proof or evidence.
They engaged in lawfare against President Trump, and he has a concern, and I do as well, that things could have been doctored in those records.
He has a concern, and so do I, that they could have been doctored. Now, have they been? Again, I need more of a declarative statement. We feel maybe, could be. Is that why we're not releasing them? Then you should have said that from the get-go, and instead of creating the ultimate Streisand effect here. As, of course, now we're going to have House Oversight Chairman just talking about how he has subpoenaed Ghislaine Maxwell for August 11th for a deposition in Florida. The Department of Justice now is cooperating and will help facilitate this deposition at the prison. Now, this is big here. What is she going to say? She's going to say whatever she needs to say to save her butt, because she's in jail for a very long time, and she's looking for a pardon. And listen, with the way that this story is going, she probably will receive one at the end of Donald Trump's term here. Let's just be real. That was seriously discussed beforehand. Donald Trump talked about how they were friends and how he, wishes her the best, especially with her boyfriend losing his life in jail. That's what he says. As now, the other big breaking news that we're getting right now is that a U.S. district judge that was appointed by Barack Obama just officially rejected the DOJ's bid to unseal the Epstein grand jury transcript. U.S. District Judge Robin Rosenberg in South Florida rejected the Justice Department request to unseal the grand jury transcripts from the 2005 and 2007 federal investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking activities. The decision was based on, quote, lack of legal expectations to grand jury secrecy. This hinders the Trump administration's push to disclose more details about the Epstein case, as the Florida transcripts stem from the Miami U.S. Attorney's probe, which ended with Epstein's 2007 plea deal to working with ladies of the night here. Those were the charges that he was given. He was given a 13-month sentence, most of which he was able to walk in and out of jail with police protection in the private wing of his own jail, as there were multiple reports of, women of questionable age visiting him during his office, during his quote, jail, that were able to, of course, go anywhere and everywhere, and police officers were just waiting outside the room as he was able to do whatever he wanted to do. As now there's some questions about, okay, who's the onus here? Is the responsibility on this person here? As, of course, a lot of people saw, and Donald Trump even tried to tell everyone, you're not going to be satisfied with the decision here, as a lot of legal experts were telling us, we're probably not going to get anything here, as these documents now still remained sealed because, quote, of legal requirements. And again, what kind of legal requirements do you need here about the story of the decade? As, again, Ryder Stone said she's a liberal judge here, obviously appointed by Barack Obama, obviously a part of this case, obviously a part of something that was a huge mishandling of justice the first time around here. If you look at that particular case, it is wild. It is bonkers that the judge approved this plea deal. It is insane. It is extraordinary. We knew that the prosecutor, who then worked at Trump's first administration, Acosta, came out and said he was told to go easy on Epstein because he was, quote, intelligence. But now we got New York Post articles. He wasn't intelligent. What are you talking about? No way. Blackmail? What blackmail? Stop talking about this. Nothing to say here. As we have to understand here, this case here now is very big, and it will not be going away anytime soon. I was just on the Quartercast, and Jeremy was like, "It's going to go away next week." I'm like, "We'll see," and I don't think it will be, as this Florida judge just blocking to unseal these transcripts is leaving us in a situation where a lot of people who want to cope will cope. as we have people online saying, force judge not to unseal the Epstein documents. Judge doesn't unseal the Epstein documents. Well, we tried. Let's move on, guys. As listen, there's a lot of concealment. There's a lot of secret things going on them that, again, really doesn't bode well. Now, I listen, we've been talking about this story for so long here, as Benny Johnson here even broke the news talking about, oh, yeah, look, it's the judges here. And again, what did we expect was going to happen here? And we told you guys, we're not going to get anything from here. And it's not a time to say I was right. It's not the time to do that. Okay, we're not here to take victory laps here. There's nothing to take victory laps up. This is sad. This is just depressing. This is just absolutely not positive, not good news here. As Eric Swalwell came out and says, "You don't need a judge. Trump has the files. Why won't he release them?" Well, that's the question that remains on everyone's mind here. Is he being blackmailed and extorted himself? I think more and more, that's the more likely scenario here. And I hate to admit it. And again, there's no proof of this. We're only left to speculate here. I hate speculating, but that's the only thing we're left here. As we, of course, are seeing multiple obfuscation efforts. As Speaker Johnson expressed his frustrations with Thomas Massie, who's trying to get Congress to move to release the Epstein files. This is what Speaker Johnson responded to with, according to those lines of questioning from the press.
So as the leader of my party, I lead the incumbent protection program. Okay, that's my job. I go all around the country. I travel endlessly, incessantly. I have to raise over $300 million to do that, and we want everybody to come back. And some people, I try to protect them from themselves. You know, they kick and scream and bite their own colleagues. Some people seem to enjoy in trying to inflict political pain on their own teammates.
This is more about political, like the fact that we're leveraging this as political pain here. Obviously, this has been politicized, but obviously, there's a bigger case here of a lot of people being hurt. Right, of a lot of predators still out there, of our government being hijacked by powerful people that were never held accountable. That's what's at play here. Now, if you're saying, no, you need to shut up because of political power, that's not the best of look here. That's not the best of optics here.
I'm not going to address anybody individually, but I'll tell you that some...
He's talking about Thomas Massie.
Here are much more frustrated than others. There's a small, tiny handful, but one in particular...
MTG.
Who's given me lots of consternation. I don't understand. I don't understand Thomas Massie's motivation. I really don't. I don't know how his mind works. I don't know what he's thinking. Thomas Massie could have brought his discharge petition any time over the last 4.5 years. Over the last 4 years of the Biden administration, he could have done that at any time. And now he's clamoring as if there's some sort of timeline on it. It's interesting to me that he chose the election of President Trump to bring this, to team up with the Democrats and bring this discharge petition. So do I have some concern about that? I do. But you know, in me and my way, I try to follow.
This shouldn't have been a Democratic issue. This should be an issue of the American people saying our government is hijacked. We no longer want it hijacked, and we want to hold powerful people accountable that have hijacked it away from the will of the American people. Which does explain, listen, the best way to explain politics is, it's an international blackmail operation. And that's why a lot of politicians promise a lot of stuff, and that's why we never get them. And we never get them because politicians are blackmailed into doing the bidding of the powerful, bad people that are willing to sacrifice children in order for political power. That's the way that the system's run. That's the secret that, of course, no one really wants to kind of expose here or talk about here. You can talk about political power, political will, but once you start sacrificing children at the altar for that, I think that's when it starts to get very questionable here.
Try to follow Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment. Never speak evil of another Republican. My gosh, it's hard to do sometimes around here. I also try to follow the scripture. You know, it says, bless those who persecute you. So let me just say about Thomas Massie, could you just accept my Southern, bless his heart, okay? I don't know what else to say about it. We're for maximum transparency. We're engaging in that right now, and we don't need political games.
Then let's release it all. And again, we won't. And that's the sad part of it. And again, people are going to be like, we're going to make sure it goes away. But then Donald Trump is giving just political perfect opportunities for the left and the corporate media to kind of go after him. And listen, I do see the potentiality of a big controversy here that has absolutely, very seriously taken grips of this presidency here. Again, we have this other clip. I have this other video I wanted to do about the obfuscation efforts here by Ben Shapiro, Sean Hannity, Dershowitz. I'll do that as a separate video. I just don't have time to get into it right now. But whether this reporting from this anonymous source is real or not, we're only left to speculate, and we're only left to speculate because we're not getting anything here. And the more that we don't get anything, the more it just looks worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. You're just giving layups to the corporate media and to the Democrats. And again, I don't want them getting layups. I don't want them just using this as a perfect ploy. But let's entertain this theory here, right? Trump says release the documents. He looks at them. He's like, oh, they implicate me. We can't show this to anyone. Case closed. Shut up. Go home. Stop talking about it. That didn't work. That's option one. Press number one if you think that's the case here. Option two, they're going through the documents. Oh, man, they're setting me up here. They faked the documents. They faked all this stuff. There's actually nothing legitimate on me. But I can't release this because it's all about me, and they've doctored it and they manipulated it. Can't release it, and I'm just going to handle this case as bad as I can. Option two, press two in the chat if you think that's what happened here. But again, if that's the case, you're like, oh man, they just set me up, just like they set me up with this whole Russian collusion stuff. But let's prove it. Let's see. Okay, let's actually go through the data. Let's go through the files. Let's see when stuff was put in. Let's see when stuff was put out here. Let's actually go through it. Let's actually see what in the world's going on here. That's what needs to be done here. The fact that we don't rip this Band-Aid, the fact that we don't unseal this, it leaves a lot of people to speculate all the worst possible things. And with that, this is going to be, unless Trump releases everything, this is going to be their major kind of political tool against Trump. And that's why a lot of his surrogates, a lot of his supporters, a lot of the people like Alex Jones are saying, release it now, please don't give them everything that they need to attack you and destroy you. Why hasn't Donald Trump done that? That's the question I want to ask you. Let's start that conversation down in the chat room. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. Thank you so much for everyone that supports us on wearechange.shop and gets our products. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.